Good morning, everyone. How can we stay so cheerful when we know what's going on? The final verse will answer that. But we're going to look at the times that we're in. We're going to look at what's going on out there. We seem to be run by the correct people. But what are they getting accomplished? Not as much as they'd like to get accomplished, because they are trying to stop everything. The judges that were appointed are doing something that has never been done before. They're trying to completely shut the president down, all of his executive orders, everything. There are lawsuits, there are challenges, there are orders from the bench. They're all unconstitutional, and somebody has got to make a move. So we sit and watch. So I say to them, Isaiah 5:20, woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. It is not going to be pleasant for them. They're obviously working for the devil. They may think they're working for good, or they're working for greed. It's not right what they're doing. But they think that they're going to win. This is the problem with the devil. He is incapable of winning. We already have the timeline. God already told us who wins. And yet the devil won't give up. Now, listen to me when I say this. I admire the fact that the devil won't give up. When we look at the other side, Christians give up all the time. Don't be like the devil, except for one thing. Don't give up. God has given us everything we need to do the job. The race isn't over. 1 John 5:19. We know that we are from God, and the whole world lies in the power of the evil one. He's convinced them to follow him. Now, is the world following Satan? No. They're following their image of what the world believes is correct. They're wrong. They don't have the Spirit of God to guide them. They have the spirit of Satan to guide them, who's not standing around in bright red with horns and a tail and looking ominous. He might be standing there looking like the Pope. He might be standing there looking like Mother Teresa or whatever. And I don't mean to pick on the Catholics, but he could be standing there looking like somebody, not acting like necessarily, but looking like someone who would you expect to be benevolent and kind, not the wolf in sheep's clothing. And the whole world lies in the power of the evil one. This verse does suggest that the world is under the power of Satan. Ephesians 6:14. For our struggle is not against enemies of flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, against spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Satan doesn't live on earth, he lives in heaven. He can pick his place to live, and he chooses heaven. So don't let what people say and do bother you. They're only influenced by the devil because they don't have a positive influence. You could be the one that gives them the positive influence. Isaiah 45:7. I form the light and create the darkness. I bring prosperity and disaster. I am the Lord, and I do all these things. Don't forget who's in charge. If the devil's doing something, God is letting him do that because people are not turning to God. They're looking for another replacement. That's like the old story. Guy falls over a cliff and he's hollering, help, help. He's holding on to one little vine and that's all that's holding him. And he's fall to his sure death if he falls. And he's calling out and finally somebody shows up at the top. Says, I see you have a problem down there. And he goes, yes. I don't know what to do. The guy at the top says, let go. The guy yells out, is there anybody else up there? See, we don't want to let go sometimes. We may have good intentions in heart, but we don't want to let go of some of the parts of our life. We need to give everything over to God. Mark 7:20. What comes out of a person is what defiles him, for it is from within, from a person's heart, that evil thought, fornication, theft, murder, adultery, coveting, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, envy, slander, pride, folly. All these evil things come from within. They defile a person. We're told the heart is wicked. And that even our own righteousness of ourselves, our own goodness of ourselves, is as dirty rags compared to God. So just give it all to Him. Don't hold anything back. Nothing. You can't control it anyway. Give everything to the Lord. Matthew 12:34. You brood of vipers, how can you who are evil say anything good? The religious leaders of the time were bad. They had been bad so long they didn't know good anymore. Can't say anything good, for out of the overflow of the heart of the mouth speaks. Whatever's inside you is going to come out eventually, out of your mouth. So if you're one to walk around saying bad things, negative things, you have a heart problem. You need a better transplant, or you need a transplant. If you don't know Christ at all, He can help you to fix that. And even after you become a Christian, your heart is still bad. It takes time to replace it, to do the surgery. The good man brings good things up in him. The evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored within him. We all start off with a lot of evil stored within us. And it takes time to get rid of it. It doesn't matter who you are. We've all dealt with it and are still dealing with it. Thoughts will come into our head that may or may not originate in our own mind. Satan may plant them there. He can't indwell us, but he can give us thoughts. What you do with that thought shows how much you've learned from Jesus. Told not to commit adultery, but it says if you lust after a woman in your eyes, you've already committed adultery. So our mind can do, you can live in, some people live in their mind, they live in dreams. They don't get out and do a lot of things, they just sit and dream. And you could, in your dreams, you could live any fantasy you can imagine. You could live in a utopia. Because you can control it. But that's not what we're supposed to do. Romans 12:21. Do not be overcome by evil, and do not overcome evil with good. No, it says, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Didn't sound right when I said it the first time. I was trying to read. Sometimes the brain takes over. Overcome evil with good. Always repay evil with kindness. We know what happens when you give out kindness. Evil can't stand it. Loving your enemies like pouring hot coals on their head. So why do we have these verses telling us how to behave? Why do we do what we do? Why has Jesus come down here? We broke our connection to God. Adam and Eve did. And we've lived with that for thousands of years. Jesus came to restore that connection, and he did. But if you don't accept Jesus and plug in the Spirit, it doesn't do you any good. You could live in a house across from a power plant. But if there's no lines going to your house, you can only wish you had power. Sometimes being that close to the source isn't good. In our case, it's always good. I remember when I lived in Los Angeles. You know I'm going to tell stories. I would drive on this one street, and would drive by a oil refinery. El Segundo, I think, was maybe where it was at. In any case, I drive by there a lot. And I'd have to make sure I'm checking it would remind me to check my gas. If my gas was low, I don't remember, I'm just going to say Chevron, it may not have been. I think it was. There was a Chevron gas station. It was a Chevron refinery. There was a Chevron gas station there. That gas station cost 40 cents more than the gas stations at the end of the road, on either end, where the businesses were. Why would they charge more for a gas station that's right there where the gas is than the ones in town? Didn't make sense. I never saw anybody in there getting gas. I don't know why they put it there. Maybe they put it there as a tax write-off. I don't know. John 16:33, I have spoken these things that you might have peace in me. In the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. In the world you will have tribulation. We have a great tribulation coming. Tribulation is just hard times. The degree is relative. What's coming is going to be the worst times on the face of the earth, period. Nothing has ever happened as bad as going to happen. It's not going to start off that way. Like everything God does, it's going to start off gradual. Wake up, wake up. Are you awake? My son is hard to wake up when he's sleeping. We tried all kinds of alarm clocks. Funny ones. Some that would come up and make faces and things like that, and eyes would turn around, things like that, trying to wake him up, making all kinds of noise. We had one that had wheels on the side, and if you didn't turn it off in time, it'd roll off the nightstand onto the floor and move around, and you have to get up and go get it and shut it off. We had one that had a target on it, and you had to pick up the laser gun and point it at it and stop it. We tried everything. Nothing worked. We didn't know that he had narcolepsy. But anyhow, we managed. God will take care of everything if we trust him and try to walk with blinders on. God will direct your path. Whatever's over here, nothing. I don't see squirrels. I do see a couple of birds, but that's it. Not as distracted today. The cat's been running around, but I've learned to let him do his running around because he burns off all that energy. And then he doesn't have the energy to be a pest. He was just here, but I didn't put him up in front of the camera. I think he knows that when I put him up in front of the camera, he won't look at the camera. He won't look at me either. When I put him up, that's his cue to misbehave, so I've stopped doing that for a little bit. But he's doing fine. Help me with this channel on YouTube. Right now, according to the numbers that are coming in, Disney is the largest corporation. This big woke engine who doesn't care about the current administration, doesn't care about God, doesn't care about anything except for the fact that they're big and powerful and they're going to dictate, and they don't care. They lost $100 million on Snow White. Now, they're a $60 billion company, but they're soon to be passed by YouTube, who's acting the same basic way. They've become more strict, tougher. And they're filtering me big time. A lot of the other more established preachers have gone to their own servers, so they don't have to deal with it. And they will post on their sites, and then while they're at it, they'll go ahead and put it over on YouTube if they can get it there. But they know they're not going to get the views. I do see somebody out on the water's edge. I don't know if that's a fisherman or he's just looking. We're in the days of Noah. People going to work, coming home in the evening. Marriage, given in marriage. There's a wedding Saturday here. As you see this will be on Friday. There's a rehearsal today for that. It's going to be in the pavilion. There's going to be 50 to 100 people. They have no clue. Going about their business. Warn the people. That's our job. But don't just walk around warning the people. You can't just go around saying the sky is falling. You got to give them an umbrella. You got to give them Jesus to go along with that. That's their only hope. Help me, Obi-Wan. You're our only hope. Well, there's a certain parallel in themes like that. Help me, Jesus. You're my only hope. Common theme for many people. So help them, introduce them. Hello, this is Jesus. Jesus, this is Mary. This is Joe. This is... Be the one that introduces them. Till we meet in the clouds. God bless.